I still know I could beat Merab. Like, there's still, call it delusional, call it whatever. That's how I got to where I'm at right now. I still know I could beat Merab with someone in your guard. Is not scary at all. Training, when they're elbowing you and punching in the face, it completely changes the sport. It's not jiu-jitsu anymore. It's fighting, and it's like, it's different. I feel a little disappointed in the outcome. I feel a little frustrated, but I just don't, there's no sadness inside of me. I'm like,
moments after UFC 316, while Merab Dvalishvili basked in victory, Sean O'Malley dropped a bombshell that flipped the narrative, claiming the fight was his to win and that this story is far from over. Despite the outcome, Sean O'Malley remains confident in his ability to defeat Merab Dvalishvili, reflecting on their past encounters with a sense of unfinished business. According to O'Malley, he felt sure inside the cage that a knockout was within reach and maintains that belief even after the fight. While acknowledging Merab's relentless grappling threat, O'Malley admits that refining his wrestling defense is key to closing the gap and securing a win if they meet again.
I still know I could beat Merab. Like, there's still, call it delusional, call it whatever. That's how I got to where I'm at right now. I still know I could beat Merab. There's still, like, Randy Couture versus Chuck Liddell. Chuck lost what, the first two?
Rampage versus Vanderlei.
Yes,
Rampage versus Vanderlei. But again, dude, just like that, it just exposes more like, hey, what we need to grind at.
It's not been a secret too. It's like, dude, I know I need to keep working on my wrestling defense. I feel like I got so much better this fight. I feel like I was able to show that camp, but just being on bottom, and I've trained with the best. We train with such good guys. It's different when you can punch someone. Like, training jiu-jitsu off your back with someone in your guard is not scary at all.
Building on his thoughts, O'Malley emphasized the stark contrast between pure grappling and live combat. He pointed out that while training jiu-jitsu off your back in a controlled setting might feel safe, the dynamic shifts dramatically in a real fight. The moment strikes start landing, everything changes. From his perspective, it's no longer jiu-jitsu at that point. It becomes something far more intense. It's not just technique anymore. It's a fight, and that reality alters the entire equation inside the cage.
Training, when they're elbowing you and punching in the face, it completely changes the sport. It's not jiu-jitsu anymore. It's fighting, and it's like, it's different. And it's just so weird. Like, he just felt so compact and strong in there.
Yeah.
Feel like
and
too much.
And like, he's so good at, he wouldn't just damage and keep trying to damage. He would damage, go back to that position.
Yeah.
Damage, go back to winning that strong position. Damage, like, he's good, dude.
Greatest of all time. Greatest.
Good.
Continuing his reflection, Sean O'Malley discussed each setback in his career as a crucial period of growth, viewing losses and low points as the moments that forged true progress. He pointed to a specific instance during the fight, a left hand that narrowly missed its mark, as a potential game changer. Had it landed, the momentum could have shifted entirely. For O'Malley, these fine margins highlight the unpredictable nature of the sport and the importance of learning from every experience.
It is the truth that going through these downs, going through these losses, going through whatever you want to call them, is where you see the most growth. Like, that's weirdly true in life. Like, that's where you find the most growth, is when you're going down and down under stuff.
And that would have changed everything. And then that's the sequence that gets you down. And it's like, up before that, dude, you were doing so good.
Second round, I didn't get taken down once. Great round. First round, I got taken down at the end of the round, more towards the end of the round.
It was what
we were executing the game plan. We were doing
first?
we were doing what we needed to do, and then he just did what he needed to do, and all is fair in love and war.
In addition, O'Malley shared his relief in successfully avoiding surgery following his fight. Reflecting on his first professional loss, he admitted that the experience had been far tougher, especially with the added blow of losing the title and being forced into surgery shortly after. This time around, the physical recovery has been smoother, allowing him to mentally regroup and move forward without the added setback of a long medical layoff.
Dude, not having to get surgery after the fight is so, like, oh my god. I don't know if that's why I still feel so like happy and grateful. Like, I don't have to get surgery after the last fight. That sucked, dude. Losing the belt and then having to get surgery right after, that was not good. This time it's like, well, what are you gonna do?
I mean, at the end of the day too, it's like, dude, I told you, I'm like, you have two healthy babies at home. All the people you love, your family, your wife, the kids, everyone's healthy. I'm like, there's just, I'm like gutted because we put so much work and effort into that fight camp. But at the end of the day, it's hard to be sad too long.
Like, I truly, when I heard that, I was like, damn, that is so true. Happiness is a skill. It's like, so for me to be able to go through something like that, and then the next Sunday rolls around, Monday rolls around, I don't feel sad at all. I still feel very happy. I feel a little disappointed in the outcome. I feel a little frustrated, but I just don't, there's no sadness inside of me. I'm holding my 14-day-old. Elena's sleeping on my chest. Danny's right next to me. I'm like, I'll close my eyes and I'll picture things like when he started locking up the guillotine, I could have done something, I could have done this, could have done that. But I'm like, man, there's nothing I can do about it now.
However, Lucas Tracy admitted that Sean O'Malley looked sharp and explosive in the opening round, showing the kind of speed that had fans holding their breath. Watching closely, Tracy was on edge as the action unfolded, especially since he was backing Merab. For a moment, the momentum seemed uncertain, and the threat from O'Malley felt very real.
O'Malley looked pretty good. He looked fast in the first round, and my heart was about to come out of my chest. I was getting really nervous. I was getting scared because, again, I'm not afraid to say that I'm rooting for Merab, straight up. I like O'Malley as a fighter. I like Merab as champ. That's the difference. I like this guy as the fucking champ, all right? So I didn't want to see my boy get knocked out. However, O'Malley was doing pretty well. I thought it was pretty close. And then Merab gets the takedown, and I feel relieved. I'm like, oh, here we go. And you got to think about what's going on in O'Malley's head, right?
Analyzing the technical aspects, Luke Thomas noted that O'Malley showed significant improvement in his takedown defense compared to their first meeting. The adjustments in his defensive grappling were apparent and reflected dedicated work in training camp. However, Thomas also pointed out that one critical aspect of O'Malley's game has remained unchanged, hinting at areas still in need of development.
UFC #1. And listen, I'm a fan of the guy. He was looking like Tony Ferguson this week. I like the trash talk, but I can't lie. It is kind of satisfying not to see a man lose, but to see a Bellator hyped up, I'm not going to call him a prospect, but a hyped up Bellator champion just fail, and all of the wannabe hardcore fans have to just answer to that, okay? That's what's satisfying. All of these Bellator fans, these hardcore fans that are going to have to deal with the fact that the UFC owns every promotion.
Furthermore, Chael Sonnen weighed in on Sean O'Malley's skill set, praising his high-level understanding of martial arts and technical ability. He pointed out that the UFC often showcases fighters who are so dominant in one particular area that they can impose their game regardless of what opponents bring to the table. In this case, Sonnen credited Merab Dvalishvili's performance as nothing short of exceptional.
Like O'Malley's understanding of martial arts, and O'Malley's skill in the martial arts is so high. And we are seeing guys who are dominant in one position. Khabib comes to mind. Damian Maia comes to mind. Merab comes to mind. Kayla did it tonight, comes to mind. Where they're so dominant at one thing that they can go out and do that one thing regardless of what is being done back to them. And it was just this incredible performance by Merab. And I got to look at Merab. Look, I thought he'd won 11 in a row, and I couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh. 11 UFC fights in a row. Right off the top of my head. I'm not looking at his record. Off the top of my head, he beat an Olympic champion and 4 world champions. One of them twice. Then I find out it wasn't 11 fights in a row. It's 12. Oh my goodness. But he's beat 12 guys, an Olympic champion and 4 world champions, one of them twice. Oh my goodness. Then I find out that's still wrong. It was 13. That son of a bitch has won 13 in a row. I cannot reasonably look at his record because I think the rankings are right. I think O'Malley should be 1.
Echoing different sentiments, Michael Bisping reflected on Sean O'Malley's setbacks, noting that the former champion has not only lost his title to Merab Dvalishvili, but also come up short again in their rematch, this time suffering a finish. Despite the tough road, Bisping highlighted that O'Malley is still just 30 years old, with plenty of time to evolve and bounce back.
Now, a lot of people were bitching about the fight because they felt that Sean O'Malley shouldn't have had that opportunity in the first place. The reality is, he's the biggest star in the bantamweight division. Not anymore, Now that's Merab. But at the time, he was. It's as simple as that. But now he's not only been beaten by Merab once, he's not only not the champion, he's been beaten twice by Merab, and he was finished as well. So, where does Sean O'Malley go from here? Well, he's only 30 years old, so he's still got a lot of time left in the sport.
Despite the improvements O'Malley made, Bisping stressed that they still weren't enough to overcome Merab. That, in his view, is a testament to just how elite and well-rounded Merab has become within the bantamweight division.
You sacrifice so much. You go out there, you change your phone number, you get off social media, you don't do interviews, and you're not gooning these days, or whatever the kids call it. You made some changes, and it still wasn't enough. The reality is, that's just Merab Dvalishvili. That's how good this man is. It's not necessarily that Sean O'Malley isn't a great fighter. Of course he is. Look at what he did to Marlon Chito Vera. Look at what he did on his path to becoming the champion. Yeah, a close fight with Piotr Jan, but Piotr Jan is the real deal and a former champion himself. The question is, where does he go now?
In light of that, Michael Bisping offered some advice to Sean O'Malley, suggesting that he explore training with different coaches and in new environments to broaden his skill set. He clarified that this doesn't mean parting ways with longtime coach Tim Welch, but rather supplementing his growth by seeing what other camps and perspectives have to offer.
However, I do think that going and training at other places will be beneficial. As a fighter, you've always got to be evolving. Now, of course, American Top Team is a place that jumps out straight away. I'm not saying leave Tim Welch. I'm saying move around, go to different coaches, train with different people, absorb as much knowledge and information as you can, because Sean O'Malley's going to want to be the champion again. And yes, he's not going to get that opportunity anytime soon. So I say take some time away. Go off, train at some other gyms. Absorb as much knowledge as you can. Work on your takedown defense. Find some better sparring partners. And again, that isn't an insult to his coach. I think he's very lucky to have somebody that he trusts so closely. But there's nothing wrong with seeing what else is out there.
However, Coach Tim Welch offered high praise for Merab Dvalishvili's evolving skill set, recognizing the Georgian bantamweight as a fighter who continues to sharpen his game. Welch pointed out the precision of Merab's takedowns, noting that, unlike others who shoot from distance, Merab mixes up his tempo and disguises his entries with expert timing. He emphasized that while it may seem possible to counter him on paper, the reality in the cage is far different.
Even since the last time we fought him at the Sphere, that was a different fighter. His entrances on his takedowns are so clean, and he doesn't shoot from a far away. You don't know if he's changing levels, throwing big hooks. He changes his tempo up, and he's really hard to catch. On paper, it looks like you can catch him, but when he's in front of you, it's a lot harder. Now, we worked on wrestling a lot more this fight camp. Not quite as much as I wanted, but we were able to grapple a lot more this fight camp, and I do think Suge got a lot of good growth out of it. But like I said, Merab is a machine, and he did some things that were a little different that we didn't expect.
Further shedding light on his mindset, Merab Dvalishvili expressed that with each fight, his confidence continues to grow, allowing him to adapt to any opponent's style, regardless of how elite they are. As he becomes more comfortable in the cage, Merab feels increasingly untouchable, believing that most fighters struggle to impose their game against him. However, he acknowledged the O'Malley matchup as a fresh and unique challenge, one that demanded a different kind of preparation. Despite that, Merab firmly believes he's the more complete and superior fighter between the two.
Just I get more comfortable, like just more confidence to I can fight any style of the fighter again, and then nobody can do shit. And yeah, and so but O'Malley fight, it's a new challenge, like I said. You know, I'm sure he's been working to stop me, and I believe I'm a better fighter than him, but I still have to respect his power, his reach, his speed. And it's a new fight, new challenge. You know, not every fight goes same way. You know, you had rematches before. It's many. Yeah, and it can play out. This fight different. This fight different.
Backing that claim, MMA Guru pointed out the dominance of Merab by highlighting how every top contender he's backed has been systematically dismantled by the Georgian powerhouse. Fighter after fighter has been thrown Merab's way, only to be overwhelmed by his relentless pressure and unbreakable pace.
I'm sending all my favorites at Merab Dvalishvili, and he's just chewing them up and spitting them out. It's just
Merab's a different
Merab
beast.
might be one of the first fighters where I'm sitting here thinking it's just not fair. This is not fair. What Merab's doing to these guys. So he did a lot better at actually dealing with Merab. But I think one of the big problems with O'Malley in this fight was he didn't want to give up those positions. And sometimes, you know, in the second and fourth round in the first fight, when he gave up those positions and just sort of thought, okay, Merab's got this round. Next round's going to be fresh. I'll try and get that one. He sort of kept himself alive in the fight, unknowingly to me. But in this rematch, with him trying to fight out of those positions in the third round and get to like a north-south position and get his knees under him and try and tuck up on Merab and try and get back up to his feet, because he was trying so hard to escape those positions, he left himself more vulnerable for that choke.
I feel like I'm watching like my granddad get beaten up, and it's just like so sad. I can't do anything about this. I'm like, you know, the moment in Interstellar when he watches his daughter make the fatal mistake and he's screaming, no, no, as Jan gets taken down again and mauled for 5 rounds and O'Malley gets absolutely manhandled. It's just Merab just chewing him up and spitting him out like a machine.
Furthermore, Guru noted that it borders on unfair just how formidable and dangerous Merab has become in the bantamweight division.
I just feel like I'm sending all of my best guys at Merab. Okay, Aldo will get him. You know what I mean? And then Aldo gets, okay, Aldo's been absolutely Merab. Okay, well, Jan will deal with this guy. And then Jan gets Merab for 5 rounds, and it's just like, okay. And then the tears are coming. Okay, well, let's see how O'Malley deals with this. And I send O'Malley in, and O'Malley gets chewed up and spat out. And then there's no one else to send. We got no more hitters to send after Merab Dvalishvili. He's just too good. He's too good.
God, he's good, man. Adding to Merab's rising reputation, Lucas Tracy weighed in on Merab Dvalishvili's rise, noting that Merab's likability only adds to his growing appeal. According to Tracy, what sets Merab apart is his ability to go out and systematically break fighters who, on paper, may be more skilled. It's that relentless pressure and refusal to slow down that has allowed Merab to overpower and outlast some of the most technically gifted athletes in the division.
This guy is just so likable, all right? He just is. I know that there are people that would prefer Sean O'Malley as champ right now. Dude, O'Malley, I understand that as a champion, he gives us highlights, but I can't be the only one that just loves this outcome way more. And this is not me trying to be different. I like Merab's fight style. He goes out there and breaks the best fighters in the world that are more skilled than him. He is the only person on the planet that's capable of doing that. This guy is not the best anywhere, okay? Except maybe you're gonna have, I can't even say that anymore because he just submitted O'Malley and his wrestling is so good. You know what? We can't say it anymore. We can't say that anymore. Merab's wrestling is the best in the division, all right? And his grappling is the best in the division, okay? Like, we just have to say that. I know Umar's pretty good, but Merab's just proven it more at this point.
Supporting that view, Demetrius Johnson weighed in on Merab Dvalishvili's trajectory, predicting that the Georgian contender is on pace to break records for the longest win streaks in UFC history. With each performance, Merab continues to build momentum, and Johnson believes his relentless style and consistency make him a serious threat to surpass the benchmark set by some of the sport's all-time greats.
There we go right there. Merab, 13-fight win streak. Absolutely. I think it's going to continue to climb. You have myself, Max, Jones, Habib, George St. Pierre. Merab is going to beat this. He's going to blow all of us out the water with this and style.
Reinforcing this praise, Luke Thomas praised Merab Dvalishvili's performance, describing him as one of the most difficult fighters to overcome in the division. He emphasized that Merab presents a complex challenge inside the cage, relentless, unorthodox, and constantly pressuring, making him a puzzle.
Dude, Merab is tough to beat. That is such a difficult puzzle to solve. Just the physical aspect of what he brings, just that is already historically without parallel. Not that he's the strongest, but that he can apply his A game through every single minute of this fight, of any fight. And that gives him access to his best tools
Despite the defeat, Sean O'Malley remained focused on the positives, pointing to missed opportunities and continued growth as signs that his journey is far from over, while Merab Dvalishvili's dominance drew widespread praise. O'Malley made it clear that the story between them isn't finished. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a beat, and we'll see you in the next video with more exciting updates.